Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Something interesting here today. We're going to get straight into it. In this box I have the long awaited Gate PTX. So in this box I've got the Gate PTX. There's an extra 80 round mag in there which I ordered separately. All the 120 round mags that I ordered aren't getting delivered yet because they've got some manufacturing issues, so I'll speak more to that in just a moment. Got the RMR plate. Got the compensator, got a lambda badge here. I think that's to do with the fact that it's got a lambda barrel fitted as standard. And we've got a USB cable. Right, of course, I've already looked at this. You'll have seen from the short, or you may or may have not seen from the short video on the channel. We were shooting this down at HC2. So if you ordered one of these funky looking pistols, you know, you might be asking yourself, where is it? And manufacturing has just been delayed quite a lot. So it's one of the things. I was one of the first ones, I must have been one of the first ones around the world to jump on the pre-order, because I was literally on the site waiting for it to drop, and then it dropped and I ordered it. I had to order it from their US store because the European store that they have, you can only order to like Europe and stuff. Like the United Kingdom wasn't an option. I asked them about it. They said, jump on the US store, you'll be able to order it. So I got on there pretty quick. So it's been delayed, which isn't a problem. If they wanted to get it right, I'm happy for that. It wasn't a cheap pistol. I think the invoice that came through the post with it, I think it was like $700, $800. I think I paid for it. So I ordered the pistol, which comes with the mag. I ordered a spare 80 round mag. I ordered 4 120 round extended mags, which again are not ready. And I also ordered the compensator and the RMR plate. The cable that comes in the box, I have yet to find what this is for, whether it's just something they throw in the box regardless, but been unable to find a thing. It doesn't mention it in the manual or anything like that. So I ordered it. When they eventually shipped it out, it took about 2 days, 3 days to get from Poland to the UK. This was before Christmas. And since before Christmas, it has been with UPS and they've just sat on it. They kept giving me a delivery day. The delivery would turn up and it would say delayed again. So they've had it for about 2 or 3 weeks. And finally today it turned up. So this is a HPA pistol from Gate, or Gate Enterprises. They've been teasing us with this on their Instagram page quite a lot. So I had to jump on and order it. So in the box with the pistol, you just get one of these mags. So if we take the foam out, all the gubbins are in there, manual, certificate of quality. They've got a readout here. It tells you, they're using 6mm ammo, 0.2s, the temperature it was, hop-up was fully released and at 100 psi. Muzzle velocity device was an Ace-Tech Bifrost BT. Strange, I thought if they were testing these things, they'd just have a static chrono, but, it's whatever it is. So everything's serialised in this. You have this certificate of quality, which is serialised. The pistol is serialised, and the case also is has a serial number as well, which is this just here. So it's similar to what they do with their MOSFETs. Now, I've been using Gate Titan MOSFETs and Gate Aster MOSFETs for a hell of a long time now. And one thing I will say about Gate is when you have an issue, because at one stage I was fitting a lot of Gate Titan MOSFETs. Every now and again you get a Gate Titan that just wouldn't play ball with you. There's nothing you could do. You go through their process and they'd say, do this, try this, okay, it doesn't work. And then they'd ask you to cut the board up, show that you've destroyed the board, and then they'd send you a new one. So it's looking like the PTX is going to be much along those same lines in terms of their service. So they've already announced that there is an issue with some of the engines to do with the nozzle's sticking slightly. So it didn't get caught in with them in testing. So this pistol has been tested. We've got the report for that. What I will say is when we first pulled this out of the box at HC2 earlier today, I had the issue. So basically what would happen was you'd plug the air line on and the air would just go straight through here and straight out your barrel at 100 psi. We couldn't get it to stop doing it. We're obviously trying to fire it, trying to actuate. I was like tapping the gun itself. And then just as I was about to write it off and say, right, this obviously needs to be rectified, I just placed my finger over the end of the barrel and like just forced it on there, which sealed it. And then the back pressure must have gone through to the engine, and then it popped, and then it was fine. It was working, which is what you'll see in the short video of us firing it. So here we are. It's a pistol. It's powered by HPA. It's not gas blowback, non-blowback, anything like that. You actually have a HPA engine installed in this thing. So it's basically the pistol version of like an MTW. All CNC machined. There is a little bit of material differences. So the top part of what would normally be the slide is machined aluminium, same as the frame here. The grips, I think they're machined out of like a plastic, as well as this section on the back here. I think that's plastic as well, but here you have it. So they have 80 round, they're proprietary magazines. This is an 80 rounder what it comes with. I did order 2 and I ordered a bunch of the longer ones, but again, they've been delayed. Apparently they've got some issues in manufacturing where the cases are warping or something and it's blocking up the BB feeds. Supposedly the 80 rounds are fine. So I've just returned an email to Gate today to basically just say, look, I'm experiencing this issue because anyone that's got that issue with the engine, they're shipping out replacement engines. They're not messing around. They're just going, right, you've got an issue. Let's verify there's an issue. And then they're sending you a unit, a HPA unit to swap into it. So I've also said in the email, look, if you can't do the 120 round mags for another 2 to 3 weeks, I think they said, just send me a bunch of the 80 rounders instead, just so I can get started and get playing with this thing. So the magazines themselves, they're machined out of plastic, so some kind of engineering plastic. I imagine at some point maybe they might move to injection molding this stuff, but they do have a very, very nice weight to them. So they're not lightweight, they've got like a bit of a chunkiness to them. And when you fill these up with BBs, in that video earlier we were shooting 3.2 tracers, they just feel really, really like quality. It's like that weight thing. Like if you ever pick up someone, like if you ever pick up and hold someone's Rolex, you can tell by the weight that it's just got a certain aspect of quality to it. Now it's not always the case with heavy items, but these feel really, really good. So they've got these little extended followers. What I did find is when you finish shooting, you pull the mag out, 1 or 2 BBs might drop out, but these slide in like that. You can hear the click. I'll shut up now. Nice positive click. They don't fall out under their own weight, so they are slightly held in, but you know, inserting the magazines and retrieving them, it is super, super smooth. So initially out the box, it was a little bit harder to push them up to get them to catch the mag release. But then after a few insertions, it's actually really smooth. You might not seem it. It's so buttery smooth. Obviously, you can't drop the mags out under their own weight. And to be honest with you, if I'm carrying these in pouches and stuff and I'm using it, I'd probably just pull a mag out, eject one, put the other in, and then stow the magazine anyway. It's not a problem. I'd rather it be a really nice fit than having it like super loose and it flopping all around everywhere, because these mags, they don't move at all. So that's going to be great for feeding, for consistency and stuff like that. But if you want to be a speedy boy and drop them while you're grabbing another one out of your thing, maybe you'd be able to work them into a point like that, but at the moment it's not. So the 80 rounders do actually stick out a fair bit away. I was under the impression that these base plates would sort of be like here, and that was the short mag. And you know, the 120 rounders, I think they've got like an extra inch or 2 on them, but not too bad at all. It looks like 2 machined plastic shells, and then they're bolted through in the center here. The plus side you're going to have with this over injection molding is these are going to be very, very hard wearing compared to like cheaper plastics or 3D printing or anything like that. So as well as this stuff, I ordered a compensator. We'll get to delve in a bit deeper with the pistol in just a moment. I just want to show you what I picked up. So I picked up the compensator. They did it for this. Now I think they've made a mistake with the compensator, if I'm honest. What I would have preferred is for the compensator to slip over the standard barrel protector, thread protector. So to fit the compensator, you have to remove the thread protector, even though the compensator's not threaded. And then you have to put that over, and then you're clamping this to the barrel threads, unless it only grips here. It might, in fact, looking at it now, it might just grip here. I understand why they can't thread this, because if you were threading it, you'd be getting stuck like that. So it has to be like a slip-on fit. what I think, if it was me personally, what I would have done is just change this out, board this out ever so slightly. Maybe they couldn't have done that because it would have had a step in it. Let's have a quick look. But to me, it would have made more sense just to protect your thread, slip that over, and then any type of clamping force, if it does nick the threads, isn't going to harm the pistol whatsoever. Most people are going to fit traces anyway. The whole reason why I bought the Compensator is that eventually on the roadmap of their development for this thing, they're going to be doing a tracer hop unit. So basically, it's going to light up your tracer rounds in the pistol instead of a muzzle device. And I really do like that. So as soon as they drop that product, I'll be picking it up, and then you could literally run this all the time and still have the benefits of a tracer. Or you could fit a suppressor to make this thing like nice and quiet, but still have being able to use a full suppressor but have the tracer function in here. So very excited to see that. So with it on the pistol, it looks a little bit like that. Gives it a bit more of an aggressive styling. Again, this is just a personal pet peeve of mine. I would love for this to have been machined where it like lock and key integrated into all this stuff here. Maybe gone a bit more over the top with the Compensator. I would have like modelled it here so it was all nice and flat. But each to their own. I'm sure many people will be coming up with kind of 3D printed goodies for us once they get their hands on theirs. The RMR plates, there's two things I don't like about the RMR plate. And again, I am picking at straws here, but it's just things that I've noticed. So in the initial photos of the plates, they had plates that had multiple holes for different thread patterns of red dots. And I don't know why they chose not to do that, but I think that would have been a better option, so that no matter what brand or what style of red dot you had, they had the thread holes there. They've got rid of that now, and they've just gone to RMR, which isn't the end of the world. But obviously when I ordered this, the pictures showed multiple threads. Now for me, I'd just go buy something. But if you want to run a specific type of sight, just know that these will only fit RMR pattern sights. The second thing about the RMR plate is the PTX has got like this sort of, what they do is when you do machining, you'll come in and you'll sandblast it or media blast it and then anodize it. It gives you this really nice matte smooth finish. This is a good example of a part that's been machined and then anodized raw. It's got no post like intermediate process in terms of media blasting, bead blasting, anything like that. So it just would have been nice to have had that media blasted and then anodized so that it matched, because it kind of sticks out a bit like a sore thumb. It's very, very shiny compared to... I just much prefer the finish they've done on the pistol. It's very, very good indeed. So just picking at straws there. I'm not criticising Gate, but, you know, I just have to be honest with it. It's my opinion. You can agree with it. You can disagree with it. It's not a problem at all. They put in a USB lead in the box. I've yet to find a use for this because when I'll show you in a minute when you open this up, I can't find like a mini USB slot anywhere, so I'm not sure what that's for. Usually I think you'd say it's for you know, the MOSFETs, unless you use one of those, you use some kind of an adapter to plug in the MOSFET. I don't know. So I've looked in the manual as well. There's nothing in there regarding that USB cable. So we pop this pin out at the front here. It's held in by a little O-ring. It is a nice interference fit, so it's not going to fall out on its own. And we slide this forward here, and then we can take the top of the PTX off. Now, you've got all your accreditations in there, you know, the fact you've got Bluetooth, all the quality assurance markings, you know, picture of a bean, that's probably to do with the battery that's on there. You've got a QR code to match up to their app, so I imagine that's just to download it. You've got app and help QR code on the other side, all the stuff, Asta 2 PTX. And yeah, this is all one solid piece of aluminium. It's very, very stout and solid. And it's got a really nice weight to it. The selector is nice and easy to use, but we'll get to that in a moment because I've made an observation about that as well. So you receive it like this. The battery is installed under the barrel. And it's, I think what they want you to do is basically charge this without removing the battery from the unit. To be honest, these batteries, I think they're like a 410 milliamp battery. Should last you a hell of a long time in something like this. these HPA engines don't require hardly any power at all to run. So I've got no problems after a game day just coming home and shoving it on the charger and charging it up. If it was like a bigger battery on an electric gun, I'd probably be a little bit more apprehensive, but something like this, it should be absolutely fine. So we plug in the JST connector there. I think this one here is just a balance lead. I think it's a balance lead. I'm not too sure. It's the weirdest balance lead I've ever seen. Almost looks like it's got a magnet on it there, but we'll obviously have to delve further into it as we go. So you've got all the electronics you can see here. You've got the Pulsar S2 engine. This is why the gun has a very large beaver tail, because it hides the solenoid in the rear here. You can actually see the nozzle and stuff in there. With that connected, we can now put this back on. You've got your hop up there, which looks like it's fixed in place so it can't drop out. I mean, I haven't managed to do it just yet. So one thing you're going to have to keep in mind with this PTX is, let's say you adjust the hop and you put quite a bit of hop on, maybe top heavy BBs. When removing and installing this part, I think what you really should be doing is removing the hop pressure, because if that screw's sticking down, the hop part itself is like in a little recess. The last thing you want to do is fit the top slide and that screw scrape all across the top of here. So when you're installing and removing this, I think it's going to be a good idea to remove the hop, just so you don't damage anything. But with how easy this TDC, and it is a proper TDC, unlike a lot of the manufacturers like to throw out there now, everything's a bloody TDC, even when it's not. This is a proper TDC, screw right on top of the adjuster screw here. Now what I have found with this, sometimes it doesn't like to go together, and you have to get all this set in a specific way, otherwise it doesn't quite like it. So it's been a few times I've tried to install this and it gets stuck. There we go. You have to get it like right in the right spot there and make sure all your cables and connectors are out of the way. You've got a little lip on the back here which will sit under that back piece there. So we just pull that back, you'll hear it click. You take your pin, pop it back in, it's a nice solid lock in there, and there we have it. So there is the pistol. One thing you'll understand if you're picking one of these up is this grip is really wide in this dimension. I hadn't even thought about it before I picked this up. So when I first pulled it out of the box and I started handling it, it felt alien to me, because it kind of feels like a 5.7. Do I have a pistol here to show you? No. I do have a VP9. We can use that as a demonstration. So normal size pistol grip. You can see how much wider this is. So it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? Comparable to like an FN57 or like a Deagle or something. It's quite a large grip. It's not too big, but after you've handled it for a while, it is a really comfortable grip. So you've got these little finger grooves here. You've got plenty of texturing. One thing I do like is the early prototypes I saw, it looked like they drilled these holes all the way through the frame. And when I first saw that, I thought it looked really cheap and nasty. But on the actual production model, they haven't drilled through the frame. They've just divoted it like with an end mill. And it looks far better, far cleaner. Obviously, that was a prototype. Again, just an observation of mine. But this looks far nicer, and it gives you just a little bit of grip texture to put your thumb on, and maybe just put a little bit more grip strength into it. So this beaver tail, this extended beaver tail, is extremely nice. It's very, very comfy, and I really like it. It's something a little bit different. Your hand sort of sits up inside it, and it's just extremely, extremely nice. The bore axis, I know this is throwing real world firearm terms at your bore axis. They all rave about low bore axis, and it's basically, compared to conventional pistols where the barrel's up here, it's much higher in the center of gravity in your grip compared to being much lower. So the barrel is almost perfectly in line with the top of your hand. Now, in the real world, I imagine that's great for recoil control and all that good stuff. For an HPA pistol, it doesn't really do much. All it does is it just compacts the pistol right down. So you feel like you're almost just looking over the top of your hand. It just really seats the pistol into your grip, and I really do like it. So it does kind of look like the Lago Alien. If you don't know what that is, just pop it into Google. It was a company that made a very interesting looking handgun over, I think there might be in the US, there might be somewhere else, I'm not too sure, but it kind of reminds me of that. So we've got rail section down here for your lights and stuff, your lasers, all that good stuff. You've obviously got your RMR plate where you can fit your red dot. You do have irons on there. They're not the best, but they're not the worst either. They're just blacked out. I'll probably be running this with a red dot anyway. And there you go. So I think actually you can change the mag release round. It's got the cutouts on both sides. So maybe we could take this out and flip it round. So if you're a left-handed user, you've got a left-handed mag release instead of on the right-hand side. So very, very comfortable, very, very satisfying to manipulate this thing. And I have to admit, I was saying to the boys at HC2, when I got it and UPS delivered it and I opened it up and I pulled it out of the box, the first thing I did, and this is how you can tell I'm like a gas blowback user, the first thing I did is I pulled it out of the box and I went to, I think it's because of these massive slide serrations, I just went to do that and I was like, dumbass, it's a HPA pistol, that doesn't come back. But they've got these insane slide serrations, which on a gas blowback or something, it'd be great. It's very grippy, but for something that doesn't move, maybe they could have got a bit more funky with it. I don't know. What I would like to see Gate do is do like body kits for these. Maybe they can do uppers like this that are in different shapes. Maybe you've got one that's got like a suppressor built in. That would be very, very cool. Gate, if you're listening, you know, free credit for you there. So yeah, maybe if they could do like an integral suppress one. You know, they've got so many potential here. Now they've got the platform, just, you know, working the CAD model, working some extra bits in. Maybe they could do like really funky compensators. Maybe they can just do different, you know, designs of the top slide. The world really is their oyster now. They've got the platform. They can just go really wacky with it. Maybe different grip panels. That would be nice as well. Just make it super modular and just give the user loads of choice. So the trigger is an optical trigger, so there's no feedback on this whatsoever. It's a little bit jarring at first when you fire it. And the one thing I will say is that I've shot a lot of MTWs, a lot of HPA, you know, souped up AGs that have nothing there. So, you know, they've either got MOSFETs or it's a HPA or anything like that. And you can get on the triggers really quick. With the PTX, it's very difficult to hit that sweet spot because the sweet spot's kind of like in the middle. It's not at the start and it's not at the end. So if when we boot the app up, which I'll have to do after I finish this video, and just start tweaking it, if I could get that so it's like right on the start of the trigger, that would be fantastic. So, but we'll have to get to that. So the selector on it is like an AK fire selector because you go select and then semi. So safe all the way to the left, semi all the way to the right, and then you select fire in the middle. So I think these are programmable and you can do a lot with them. So the reason I think they've done this is because when you're on safe, obviously nothing will happen. You can go straight to semi, just push it all the way back and not have to worry about where it is. And you can hear it firing. See what I mean? It's like hard to get that rhythm, that cadence of where you're like right on the thing and you can fire it really quick. Full auto is obviously in the center, which at first I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it makes complete sense. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is the fact that you're on safe. So you've got a black indicator here. Fire, you've got the red indicator to show you that it's off safe. When it's in auto, it shows you that it's safe. So all I would have done is just this dot. I would have just extended it or placed it, you know, a little bit further up so that when you go off safe to full auto as your first setting, this is a bit more prominent, just in case you picked it up. Because if I pick that up now, it looks like it's on safe, but it's not. So you could I suppose you could tell yourself, you just, again, I'm picking at straws here, but I think to give this its fair review, especially for something that's so vastly expensive. I mean, I paid, I think, roughly $800, and then I had to pay, when it came into the UK, I had to pay the import government agency fees, and then UPS charged me brokerage and all this malava. It ended up costing about £260 in import fees. So we are well over £1,000 there. I think it's not a cheap thing. So if I'm picking at it, it's just because the thing is quite expensive. It deserves to be criticised. So, right, we're going to try and shoot this thing now really quick. We're just going to chrono it. So I am going to just, oh, look at that. We're on 100 PSI on this big tank. I'm going to take our Vanguard. For those of you that enjoy speed loaders, T238 contacted me. They're going to send me one of their speed loaders to try and pitch it against the Vanguard. But we're going to unlock this. We're going to set it to 80 rounds. See how it does. Oh, that is not an 80 round mag. Let's try again. I'm sure these are meant to be 80 round mags. Let's try again. Let's try and hold it a bit harder so it doesn't fly everywhere. It's 75. It really had to squeeze them in there, and it did 75. You see there, pressure limit 75 bb's. So are these actually 80 round mags? At the moment it doesn't seem like it, but why you'd say it's an 80 round mag when it's a 75, I'm not sure. So right, let's plug this up now. We'll see if we get the fault again. Yeah, see the fault? So the air is just pouring out the barrel. And the way we solved this last time, oh, it's fixed itself. So the way we solved that last time, we quickly put the airline on, and I was actuating it, and then I put my thumb or my finger over here, and it popped like that, and it went back to normal. So this is a faulty engine. I've contacted them about it, and hopefully I can use this video as proof that I've done that. But when you've got it empty with no magazine in, it sounds kind of strange, because it's almost like the nozzle echoes through the mag well. But we're going to put a mag in, and we're going to see when it's set to 2 5s what this thing chronos at. So here we go. So 1.15 joules. Down to 1 joule. Just going to call these out to you now. 1.1, 1.07, 1.04, 1.05, 1.06, 1.03, 1.04. So yeah, now we're just... It seems like it's getting more consistent with each shot, but it's really hovering around the 1.05 joules. So 300 feet per second on a 0.25. Let's see what we can track the full auto F, see if it will do the rate of fire test. So here we go. So out the box, it's set to just under 25 rounds a second. To be honest with you, most sites have their limits set at 25 rounds a second now, but the feed actually is pretty good. So it didn't skip a beat there. We're going to put this other mag through it as well. We're going to do a full mag of auto and see how it feeds. So you'll probably be able to hear it. So here we go. That fed perfectly every single round. And of course, when we take the mag out, we get 2 bb's fall out. And then we are empty. However, always semi-auto, safe direction, just to make sure. So there we go. PTX 1.05 joules straight out the box on a 2.5. Most CQB sites say, you know, limit to 2.5 anyway. We were testing this earlier. So on the Chrono down at HC2, it was coming out a little bit lower. So that'll be some Chrono difference. What I will say is we were firing, I think, one joule on a 2.5. And then with a 3.2, it was firing like 1.15, I think. So there's a bit of joule creep there, but not crazy amounts. But like I say, most sites, you should be able to dial this up or down with your pressure anyway. It's just baseline, 100 PSI, 0.25 gram BBs, you're getting pretty much bang on a joule or just slightly over. Most sites run a 1.14 joule limit for full auto. Anything full auto capable here in the UK, and usually indoors, semi-auto, you're 1.14 joules anyway. So there you have the Gate PTX. I was just having a quick look around to see if I've got a suppressor that I could quickly try on it. See if I've got one. To see if it changes the sound. Oh yeah, this'll do. So here we have a Sniper Mechanics Hex. The only reason I'm grabbing this is because it's there. It's the first thing I saw. So these could actually work out pretty good on these pistols if it would thread on. There we go. See what the weight's like. Honestly, it does have an aspect of being front heavy now. Maybe putting a nice red dot on there will balance it out. It's not crazy, to be honest. With a tracer, it's not going to be doing much at all. Let's see if it's changed the noise. Let's take the mag out. It is empty. Let's get rid of that echo. So even at 100 PSI, this thing is actually pretty quiet. It would even be quieter if we put a round in it. So let's put some round in this mag. I'm not going to put 80 in. I'm going to do 45. There we go. So, semi-auto mag loaded with 2.5 BBs, nothing on the front. This is what it sounds like. And we're going to put the suppressor on. Again, suppressor results may vary. Same again. Most of what you hear in there is the rounds hitting the box. That's suppressor. And this is without. Yeah, quite a big difference, even though we haven't really optimized it to be suppressed just yet. I would like to try it with an STFU, but I don't have one here at the moment. We did review this not long ago, which was the E-Shooter tracer and smoke generator, and I think, to be honest with you, to begin with, I think this is going to be how I run it. What I really love is when they do stuff right, and they have got the threads on this thing so right. They've terminated the threads at the barrel, literally a gnat's hair before the frame, or the major part of the pistol. So as long as you've got something that's pretty much flush at the back of the suppressor, you're not going to hit the frame, and it just makes the fit like so much better. So we could have this running, it's ruining our tracers, it's throwing smoke everywhere. It's just going to make it a really enjoyable experience. And to be honest with you, with this on, I can't really even feel it on the pistol. It's so light, but you know, being made out of good materials. So we could go smaller if we didn't want to run a tracer. We could go smaller with something like the Martina if we were doing outdoors and we just wanted the smoke. Again, still looks great. Or you could just run any type of small little pistol tracer and you'd be having a good time. So we'll leave it there for now. Of course, if you've got problems with your PTXs, Gate will look after you. I'll have to contact them now. I'm not sure what the turnaround time is going to be to get a replacement engine, or what that's going to involve in terms of pulling all that apart and sorting it out. So there you have it. They come with a really long hose on the grip. Most people, I imagine, will chop this down. One thing I do want to do is remove this gaudy fitting. And if I've got one here, I know I've got one here, bear with me, one on this adapter. So I'll probably just replace this, because it's big and ugly, just with a nice sleek one like these ones. These are the ones that come on the AirTac adapters, but I've got some somewhere that are even smaller than this. I just think this is a bit ugly, so we're going to switch it out for something like this. I might rub it off this one, to be honest, because this is for the VMP2. and just shorten the lead maybe, depending on where you want it. I imagine they've left it long like that so that you can decide where you want it. Also, you don't want it too close. So, you know, if your line and your plug's right here, you don't want it getting in the way of when you're, you know, putting a mag in. So having a bit of length on it. I think I might just clip mine about here and fit a different adapter on there. So there you go, the Gate PTX. Hope you like it. I know it's a super long video. Apologies for that. I've tried to cover any questions I might get because I'm sure many of you will have tons of questions. Got the airline here. Let me get this in shot. We try and plug it for the thumbnail. One thing you'll find about my thumbnails is more often than not, they're pulled exactly from the video. So there you have it, the Gate PTX. Phenomenal little thing, but it has a couple of teething issues. Hope you liked the video. Like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you think I've done a good job. Stick around, we've got plenty more interesting videos turning up. I think we've just cracked 25k subscribers, which is great. Appreciate every one of and all of you for sticking around and thinking, and you know, just appreciate you wanting to watch me talk about, you know, a hobby. So thank you very much. Check out links in the description. Jaeger Precision Discord will be down in there. And as always, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.